I'm reviewing the first Omen. The first Omen is 20th Century Studios' newest horror film, and it is in theaters right now. It is directed by Arkasha Stevenson, and it stars Nell Tiger Free, Ralph Ineson, and Bill Nye. I'm gonna keep this review as spoiler-free as possible because I don't wanna ruin it for any of you out there who plan on seeing this film, and I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of you. This is Arkasha Stevenson's feature directorial debut. She has directed episodes of some very cool shows like Brand New Cherry Flavor, one of my favorites that I've mentioned before. So she is not new to this game, and let me tell you, it's obvious she knows what she's doing. The first Omen is a prequel to the 1976 original film, The Omen, in which the child Damien is given to the US ambassador to be raised so that he can have, political influence as he grows older. This film, it's actually a great little segue into that film. In this, we follow an American novitiate named Margaret. She is going to Rome so that she can take the veil or take her vows. Actually, I think they usually take 2 vows, like introductory vows and then another set of vows. Anyway, and then take her vows to become a nun. Since she hasn't taken her vows, she and a fellow sister indulge in some extracurricular fun before they do so, and she also forms a special bond with one of the girls at the orphanage where she is working. Margaret was also raised in an orphanage and has been pretty much a ward of the church her entire life. She starts to unravel the truths of the church, and as with most films like this, she starts to have a crisis of faith. So let me say this about this film. I loved this film. I found very little to fault. It's amazing what a great job they were able to do with making this film feel like it really did come from the 70s. I mean, I know this is a trend, but it's a trend that people are doing really well in horror films lately, and I am here for it. I love the warm color grading. I love the way the shots are constructed. I like the entire feel of these films. If you like films like the original Omen, The Exorcist, Rosemary's Baby, you are going to enjoy this film. If you do not like films like that, then you will not enjoy this film, because this film not only looks like it came straight out of the 70s, but it feels like it came straight out of the 70s. When it first starts, it is slow. It has a slow buildup to get to where we're gonna be. I wouldn't necessarily call it a slow burn like we do, now. There is something about films from that particular time period that really do have a layer of just dread, even though there's not really much happening. And in the beginning, probably for the first 20 minutes, it's pretty slow. And it did ramp up, and it does get ramped up, and it continues to ramp up. Some of the cinematography kind of blew my mind because different shots clearly had hidden meanings behind them. When I saw one shot with these candles, all I could think of was, oh, it's like in the mouth. And then there were other shots that kind of confirmed that to me. So they have an amazing fog machine for this film. And if you know me, you know that I love a good fog machine and a good hazer with the lighting. They have definitely some Exorcist reminiscent shots. This movie is heavily influenced by multiple horror films in the perfect way. There was a lot of thought put into each and every aspect of it and each and every shot. So this director, she took it very seriously and killed it. The sound design, impeccable. Actually, there were moments that the sound made me laugh, and it was intentional. I believe that there was a couple moments where they meant for that to be intentional, and it worked very well for me. The music is wonderful. Lots of violins, which is perfect for the period. There is an awesome club scene, too, that has some fun music, and actually, I found myself kind of wanting to dance. Normally, I don't really like music from the 70s. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's just not really my thing, but I liked it here. Actually, that scene was very cute as well. Hello, gorgeous. What I think people are most concerned about here is the story. The writing was very clever. I liked how they managed to still keep the same look and feel of The Omen and tie in enough of the story that I felt satisfied, because The Omen is a fabulous film. It's one of my favorites. I love religious horror. The story is so central and so key to this. If you're familiar with the original Omen, the mother is a jackal. That is not the case here. And I am not willing to spoil anything to give you some piece to that. But I will say that I found what was done with the film acceptable. I enjoyed it. I liked it. Was it telegraphed? Definitely some of it was telegraphed. And I don't mind that either, because I usually can kind of tell what's gonna happen before it happens. And this was, you know, I mean, if you watch a lot of movies and you watch a lot of horror films, especially, you could see, I mean, oh, I don't want to give anything away. This is a hard film to talk about without giving something away, because the story is so central and so key to this. Nell Tiger Free is absolutely amazing in this. If you don't know who she is in Servant, which is an Apple Plus series, and she's phenomenal there. She's better even here. I loved the way the characters were written. The nuns weren't written so mean that they're just so annoying. They were just more stern. The children from the orphanage were as to be expected, and Carlita, the girl that she forms a bond with, I truly believed that they had a bond. Their bond is definitely evident from the beginning of the film, and it stays that way throughout. I feel like there is so much more that could be told of this story. I want to know more, and I know that that would be an issue with further Omen films, but a couple of the films could stay, and then you could weave this story back in, because I feel like to not continue with this would be a disservice, because I love these characters. I love where the story seems like it could be going, and it could get crazier and even more intense. A lot of talk has been centered around the gore on this film. I've heard that they had to avoid an NC-17 rating for this film because of this particular birth scene. As someone who was in labor for hours and hours and couldn't give birth, I could see how traumatizing this is. Shockingly, didn't bother me. I don't know. I have experienced a couple of things that have happened in this film, and so for me, this wasn't very gory. It's wild that that scene would create such a stir, because it's not as if it's anything sexual in nature at all. Now, this might be a little different from a traditional birth scene. I have a wicked sense of humor, and one entertains me, and I wish that I could have seen more. I do hope that if they put these out on Blu-ray, that they will have the extended version so that we can see this scene in all its glory. They'd be crazy not to, because I would consider purchasing it definitely so I could watch the gorier scene, because I'm really messed up like that. I was worried. I'm not gonna lie, I was worried going in. This film far exceeded my expectations. Are you planning on seeing the first Omen? Do you like religious horror films? Have you seen all of the Omen films? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, I really do hope that you have the most amazing day, my spooky darlings. I would like to give an extra special thank you to my beautiful patrons at Patreon. I love you dearly. Chris Mizictino, Jimmy Horror, Janie McLaren, Jose Reyes, Phil Smith, Jim Kemmerling, and Deal Demon. You are so wonderful, and I love you so much, and thank you for helping me produce content like this. Some of these nuns look straight up crazy. Like, I would be slapping someone. I'm like, get out of my face. You're crazy. Not like me at all. I'm not crazy, you're crazy. The